So I thought I don't know what other visual aids I can use here. I don't really collect Shazam comics or Captain Marvel comics. So I'm showing you Kingdom Come while I tell you how the movie was. So it's spoilers within a spoilers, right? So I was going to hate this movie based on the bus promos, the signs, and as I found out, it really wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. After watching Aquaman and going back and finally watching Wonder Woman, I mean, it's over there, sitting over there somewhere. And I did enjoy Justice League. I'm probably one of the very few. Um, if they took Justice League and New Frontier, the cartoon, and combined it together, they would have a great sequel. So there's, I will say in short that I liked the movie. It really was good. It didn't offer a whole lot of new material, but it was a new addition to the other movies. The beginning, you had your villains set up at the beginning, and uh, you had the hero set up in the middle, and in the end, you have some kind of resolution, and it was good. So after I turn this page, I will get into spoilers. So here we have the final battle of Kingdom Come, and it's all resting on Shazam to save the day in a post-apocalyptic or possible uh, future of all these superheroes, the last great stand of the superheroes. So you have John Glover, who who kind of slightly phones it in as when you think of Lionel Luthor, you think of Savannah's father. So you have young Savannah in the beginning of the movie is it's about maybe 11, 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old, and there's a car accident. Uh, so cheesy, kind of the car comes out of nowhere and hits the other car, you know, perpendicular. I'm kind of getting tired of that, where the car is about to hit him, and here comes this car out of nowhere, boom, you see that all the time, and it's so cheesy. But we are introduced to the wizard Shazam, a black Shazam, but a really good Shazam. He kind of does an Obi-Wan Kenobi trick sort of at the end of the movie where he kind of disappears into nothing. But I like to see they can do this kind of scene now as opposed to 1996. When you saw this painting in Kingdom Come, you could only, So we look at a bit of Dr. Thaddeus Bodog Savannah's origin. Yes, I can remember the name. I remember the comic book character. He died, by the way, in this story. Lex Luthor killed him and controlled Shazam, Billy Batson, as an adult. That's why you see him with Billy Batson with the tuxedo, and then he changes into Shazam and fights Superman. But anyway, so after Savannah, we go to about 20 years later. Savannah's an adult. He's Mark Strong, who was formerly Sinestro. And he's studying what happens is he tries to get the power, this globe, okay? It starts out with a magic 8-ball, playing around with it. And then his fascination with the 8-ball is replaced with this weird rubbery kind of web ball that has all this power to give him more power, to give him like the power of the 7 deadly sins, gluttony, pride, envy, lust, greed, avarice, all that stuff. And so he doesn't get this till later. But meanwhile, we go to Billy Batson. And we see Billy Batson, who is running away from foster home to foster home, fucking around with the cops, trying to find his mother, who he does find. And in that way, it's anticlimactic. Nothing gets really resolved. But, it kind of gets resolved. It's sort of off-putting the way it gets resolved, because I guess we kind of knew that she wasn't going to welcome him with open arms. She's kind of a pathetic woman who had sex and had a kid too early in her life at 17. And so here you see this kid who, you have this kid now this lost little kid who was trying to find his compass, his little ball compass, and the cops find him and he goes from foster home to foster home. And the mother the mother probably would have been arrested You know, I think this, I let cinema sins get to me where I pinpoint the mistakes. I think the mother would have been arrested for what she did. But anyway, she ran away, and so Billy Batson's a troubled kid. So he goes from foster home to foster home. He finally ends up with Uncle Dudley and his wife and the kids. There's no bunny. I got to tell you, there's no Hoppy the bunny. It would have been nice if they put a bunny rabbit in a cage in the house. Would have killed them to do that. You get a little bunny. It doesn't have to be a showbiz rabbit, but you put the rabbit in a cage eating a carrot inside the house, inside the Fawcett house. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, the Fawcett. I don't know what Uncle Dudley's last name is, but I just know that it's just a family of people. And so Billy Batson's trying to adjust. He wants to find his mother, but he's kind of gotten over it to try to fit in with his family. He meets Freddie, and he meets a little black girl, cute, adorable little girl. She reminds me of Dee Dee Davis when she was a child in the Bernie Mac show. The big fat kid, the Asian nerd, kind of reminds me of Short Round from, what is it, Indiana Jones? Or was it Goonies? And then you have the beautiful, I forgot the actress's name, who's playing Mary Marvel. So it's dealing with, a kid in high school or junior high school, middle school. For some strange reason, this one school has junior high school and high school. How does that happen? I don't even know how that happens. You got the one security guard who's a complete idiot. But it reminds me of my security guard, Enrique, who would say, "Hey, you got your school ID? Oh, all right. Sometimes he'd check, but most times he didn't. He was the guard you'd see on the way out the. It was a Catholic high school I went to. So, anyway, so here we got Shazam and Superman fighting it out, and Congress figuring out if they should drop an A-bomb on the Gulag where the new superheroes are being kept prisoners. So it is about Billy Batson becoming Shazam. It is about what is it? Solomon, Hercules, Aphrodite, Zeus, Ares, and Mercury versus the 7 deadly sins. So if you think about it as seven good things and 7 bad things, that's the whole battle. And you see that especially at the end when the kids become the Marvel family, so to speak. Freddie becomes Captain Marvel Jr. The fat kid and the Asian kid become their own Marvels, and you got Mary Marvel, and then you got the one girl with the purple outfit. I forgot her name. Was it Trina? I forgot her name. So what was going on with Santa Claus? That's another thing. So this is a really good. It has some vulgarity, but it's PG-13. So you hear shit, and the F word is implied at the very end. I will say, of course, speaking of Superman, you will see a body double for Superman, but not Henry Cavill. Maybe next time. But it was nice that Jason Momoa gave a nod to Zachary Levi for the movie. So Aquaman is welcome to have Shazam in the DCEU. Here's Batman, the old Batman from Kingdom Come. And we still have more superheroes and supervillains fighting. Or actually, the old superheroes and the neo superheroes, the new blood. So this is a very important role for Shazam in this book. But in the movie, it was great. Obviously when Billy Batson becomes Shazam, he does every stupid thing he can do. He's an Instagram whore. He's a Twitter whore. He loves YouTube. He wants attention. He's got all this power, and he tries to abuse it. And on the other hand, you got Dr. Sivana, who tries to do good work, but he's just obviously evil. And obviously, I thought John Glover's character died in the car accident, but he didn't. So it was off-putting to see him in a wheelchair, and you had the older brother, which was funny. He tossed the older brother out the window. But, and I guess you could say somebody will troll, clickbait, put a clickbait title on the YouTube. Lex Luthor confronts his dad in a wheelchair. Lex Luthor confronts Lionel Luthor in a wheelchair. And everybody knows what scene that is. That's Shazam and not Superman. So it's kind of funny because if you look at that scene carefully, it's like you're watching Michael Rosenbaum confront, John Glover one more time, but instead of throwing him out the window, he lets a big monster take him out. It's kind of funny, but the lines are almost the same as Lex talking to his dad. What is power, and but he has ultimate power. And I think for young Lex Luthor in Smallville, ultimate power that goes beyond reasoning was more important than any money that he had. So yes, there are parallels to Lex Luthor and Superman. That was the whole basis of the whole lawsuit between DC and Fawcett, as to why they, were suing Captain Marvel because it was a copy of Superman, and they eventually bought him out. And then you have movie copyrights. So Captain Marvel obviously belongs to the movie rights for the title belong to Disney and Marvel, but Shazam is still in the ball court of DC Comics. So it's a weird time, but it wasn't a lot of head scratching there. So yeah, here you got Captain Marvel fighting Superman, but he's supposed to be acting under Lex Luthor's orders along the Mankind Liberation Front. And this is the final battle that really tests who Shazam is. And in the movie, with Zachary Levi, Freddy, who is Captain Marvel Jr. at the end of the movie, Freddy tests... I mean, by the way, those fucking bullies. What is it with this? Do you notice something? Cinema Sins, maybe you're watching or not. Do you notice there are always two bullies? I noticed this in Aquaman and in Shazam now. You got two bullies. I'm surprised there were no two female bullies on Themyscira pushing around Diana. But there were two bullies in Aquaman, and then there were two more in Shazam. I was like, come on. DC Comics, you got to stop with the two bullies. Make it three. Make it one. Make it a different, male and female. Make it different groups of people, But it's always the two bullies. You got to stop that. It's fucking predictable. So I'll give one Cinema Sin for that. The two bully rule. Ding! So we see here Batman and Wonder Woman taking out the bombs, but they take out the two, but the last one. So he is learning, how to fight, he's buying liquor at the liquor store. That one funny scene where they're buying liquor, but then they spit it out and buy some other food because they can't stand beer. So they just wanted the idea to what is it? As Freddy tells Shazam, you are the fake ID. So they buy beer and then they buy some food. But Freddy's teaching him, it's about humility. It's about limits of your powers. Great power comes with, that other superhero. So here, this is this scene here parallels what Freddy was trying to teach Billy Batson and ultimately Shazam. Here he's about to change into, or he's about to do something. He's saying Shazam and trying to mess with Superman, but here he says enough. And this scene is important. And I was thinking about this scene before I was watching the movie. I said, when Zachary Levi has to do total method and total seriousness, it's like, he says, I don't know what to do. You can see that, can't you? Every choice I have made has brought us here has been wrong. So listen to me. Listen harder than you ever had before. So Billy would have to, make a hard choice here. But when Billy confronted Dr. Sivana, he found out that although Sivana seemed to be all-powerful with gluttony, avarice, lust, greed, that envy was the one that was within him, and envy was guiding his power. And without envy, Dr. Sivana is just some dumbass with a fake eye. So here's what he's telling him. Look around us. Look what we've come to. There's a bomb falling. Either it kills us or we run rapid across the globe. I can still stop the bomb, Bill, that much I'm sure of, but what I don't know is whether I should be allowed to. And that decision, it's not for me to make. I'm not a god. I am not a man. But you, Billy, you're both. More than anyone, whoever existed, you know what it's like to live in both worlds. Only you can weigh their worth equally. Fight the brainwashing, Billy. You can let me go, or with a word you can stop me. Do you understand the choice that can be made by you alone? Then decide. Decide the world. And that's when he cries Shazam for the last time in this story, in this book. Seven thunders under their voice. So Superman goes off and Shazam throws him down. And everyone, all the superheroes look up. All the old superheroes, all the new ones. He says Shazam, Shazam, Shazam. And that's it. And a lot of people die. But Captain Marvel gladly gave his life, as you can see in this last scene. You know, I had asked him to choose between humans and superhumans, but that alone was a false decision. And the only choice that mattered was life. So beyond politics, Captain Marvel's flag, you know, was a symbol of life between the Reds and the Blues and all that. So maybe that's why we have to do a Justice League 2 or another Justice League movie. You know, that's why we have to have that, so we can see Captain Marvel or Shazam make some hard decisions. But yeah, I mean, like when you think of when you know Zachary Levi Shazam shocks the bus and then he has to go and clean up his own mess, or when he was making a fool of himself, begging for money, being a superhero, throwing lightning bolts, he's come a long way. And now that he is no longer alone, now that he has a whole family of Captain Marvels, his whole family, now he can do more. You know, and so it's really great to see a fun family movie that is more PG-13 than it is PG. So I would say, you know, teenagers to young adults can really enjoy this movie, and it is sort of part of the DCEU, and so we're going to see how that goes. And let me see if I can find some last Shazam art in here before because this is a great book, probably one of the greatest superhero books. This is Captain Marvel, done by Alex Ross, from that guy from, what was it? Fred McMurray from, I think it was one of those old, I think it was either Leave It to Beaver or Make Room for Daddy. Fred McMurray was the inspiration for this art. So the original Captain Marvel here. It was great. I'm going to give this one, should I give it a 9 or an 8.5? I'm going to give it an 8.5. Only because I've seen this story before. So I knew what to expect. You kind of hear some of the music from Smallville, from seasons 8 through 10. And you get that feeling. I mean, I was also thinking of the episode where that kid became a dark, evil superhero when he was reading the comic book, the one with Superman, Clark Kent wasn't Superman yet. He was still the Blur. And you had an episode of that. So I was thinking of that as well. Jeff Johns had a hand in this. So there was remnants of Smallville and some of the recent stuff. And that's what DC needs to be doing, more of this stuff. Joker is going to be a whole different animal. Who knows how that goes. Then we got Wonder Woman 84, Birds of Prey. Green Lantern Corps, I hope, I mean, they can't let that sit around forever. I'll probably get the animated series that was done in 2011 and see how that goes for me. But watch this movie, really enjoy it, and pick up Kingdom Come as well. This is a good book. This is the Absolute Edition, but you can get the paperback if you wanted to. And thank you, Zachary Levi. Thank you, Jason Momoa. Thank you, Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill and whoever is replacing Batman. And maybe Andrea Lando as Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern, if she ever comes on there. Who knows? We'll see. Take care, and Shazam again.